Welcome in everyone, just preparing together for the Sagittarius full moon ritual. You can just watch and learn, or you can do it along with me. You don't have to use a fire, you can use a candle. Let me know where you guys are from in the comments. Welcome in, welcome in. I'm going to teach you how to do a full moon ritual. Every full moon brings its own energies. Let me know if you guys can hear me in the comments. Hello Lilith. Nice to have you here. We're doing a release and ripening ritual tonight. So patiently stoking the fire, allowing the fire to rise, just becoming present with the energies. So the tools that we're going to be using for this rose moon ritual, and I'm wearing pink, my pinks for my rose moon energy. It's always good to be deliberate about the colors that you incorporate when you're doing your ceremonial, spiritual ceremonies and rituals. Every color holds its own vibrational energy and absorbs that energy and amplifies that energy. Okay. So the tools that I'm using obviously is my fire, right? And then paper. Okay. So any paper that you want to use. Obviously paper holds the essence of the tree as well as the wood that we use in the fire. So we're connecting to the ancient medicine of the elders, the trees that hold and embody the essence of our ancestors. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do with this paper in just a few seconds. I've also got a black pen. I'm going to come up closer to show you guys in just a minute. And I've got some bay leaf. I want to show you guys how to use the bay leaf, especially what the do's and the don'ts with your bay leaf when you're using bay leaf in releasing and clearing. The bay leaf is very powerful to release and clear. You just want to be aware of its uses and how it works so that you don't implement or use bay leaf as a tool in areas where you don't really want it. Okay, so I'm going to be teaching you guys some tips and techniques, how to use the tools, the ingredients, and what sort of methods you want to implement when you're doing your clearing and your cleansing rituals. Okay, so we're making use of the full moon in Sagittarius energy, the rose moon energy, that is very, very triggering and activating, bringing up the divine energy, the divine feminine energy of frustration for some of us, and anger, resentment, bitterness, certainly around the state of our world at this time. It's hard for us to believe that we are alive at a time when these types of atrocities can be normal, that it can be happening right before our eyes. We are confronting the phantom patriarchy at this time, the phantom masculine, the ego, the dark side of the ego. That's what we're confronting within each and every one of us at this time. Okay, I'm going to bring you closer. Okay, so I'm using a candle wax to stoke my fire. See if I can bring you guys closer. Oh, maybe not. Just switch that off altogether. Oh, maybe I'm closer. Right. Not really. Anyway, so. Hi. Welcome in, guys. We're doing a rose moon ritual with our fire. You can use a candle at home. And the ingredients that we're using for this ritual is we're going to be using the bay leaf, right? Just the ordinary bay leaf that we use when we're cooking. This is a very powerful tool when it comes to removing things. Removing energy, dark energies, releasing and letting go of. You don't want to use this if you don't like a loved one or a family member's attitude, because you will remove them from your life completely. So we're going to be using the bay leaf very specifically for the things in the world right now that we want to get release. We no longer want it in our world as a collective. So we'll use this for the release of collective energies. Okay. But you want to be very careful when using the bay leaf in a release ceremony when it comes to people, their attitudes, their behaviors, because the bay leaf will remove them from your life completely and anyone that is attached to them. Okay, so I'm going to teach you guys a little bit about the tools we use. I'm using a black pen. The reason why I want to write on my paper, I'm going to write down, we're going to write down everything that we want to release. Hello, Sonto Maureen. Nice to have you here. We're using a black pen because black absorbs the energy. So when we write down what we want to release, we want the energy of all of that we want to release to be absorbed into the ink, onto the paper. And then we're going to release it into the fire. Okay. And then the other tool, the other thing that we're going to be using is, I've got my bowl here. I always use this bowl for my water, to charge my water. And I've got some filtered water in this bowl. You'll see that this is a beautiful green color inside this bowl. And green is the color of medicine. It's the color of love. It's the color of the heart chakra. So I'm going to charge my moon water with this Sagittarius rose moon energy in this bowl, and I want to encourage you guys to do that. This is just filtered water in the bowl, and I've covered it with some cling wrap because I'm leaving it outside overnight to charge in the full moon energy. And then what we're going to do is we're going to drink. I'm going to add this to my tea until it's finished, to absorb the energy of the full moon, because the moon brings us the energies that we need to release, to upgrade, and to ripen. So this water is going to help us to ripen the creativity, the gifts, the magic, the medicine, our abilities, the fruits of the spirit. That is what this full moon energy offers us. Is the energy to ripen the fruits of the spirit within us that are stagnant, where we feel our wings have been cut, where we feel that our gifts are suppressed, and so forth. Just got to get this fire going a little bit more. Let's see, before we begin. Just going to give it a few minutes. So if there's anything specifically that you would like to have or see released, you can just put it in the comments, and I'm going to be doing this ceremony for all of us. Okay? Or you can just do it at home in your own space as well. we're setting an intention to release some of the patterns, the fear, some of the habits and the tendencies that we still have active that are blocking our creativity, our gifts, the love and the energy that we're wanting to bring into the world. We've got to do that together. We've got to be the change that we want to see. So as I said before, you can do this ritual with a candle. You don't have to use a fire. But I'm doing this for the collective, and so we're going to use the energy of the fire. All right. Welcoming you all in. Let me know where you are from. Think about what it is that's been coming up for you this week. Feelings of not being enough, the fear of not being enough, feelings of being helpless, especially with what's happening in the world right now. The sense of helplessness around some of the decisions that political leaders are making that are really not for the benefit of the people. It's all about greed. Feeling as though our world has been hijacked. Okay. Feeling the stress and anxiety around being out of control. It's time for us to release our need to be in control all the time, to release our fears and our programming, the fear of not being enough, the judgment. There's a lot of judgment and resentment that's coming up this week. Right. Lots of judgment and resentment coming up this week that we are just setting an intention to release. Releasing unforgiveness. Perhaps you think that life should have been different, things should have looked different by now. Okay. So all of those emotions and the anger that's come up, that's pushed up for so many of us at this time, are here for a reason and a purpose. Some of us are afraid of our own success. Some of us are afraid of releasing beliefs and narratives and attachment to our culture. There's so much being confronted right now. And in order to fully embrace and individuate the fullness of who we are, to truly love, we must accept all that something is. Alright? Okay, so what we're going to do is, whilst I've got my moon water charging, okay, so those of you who have seen how I have my water in a bowl, in a green bowl, the moon charges the water, the filtered water, in that green bowl, and it uses and amplifies the energy of the green light. Okay, the color green holds a frequency of the heart chakra, and that is the frequency of healing, of embracing the whole, of fullness and of love. Okay. I'm just taking my paper. Okay, so this is what you will do in this ritual. You will set your intention. What is it that you're wanting to release? Okay, we welcome the archangels into the space, your angel guides, your ancestors. And we ask, and we set an intention to be open to the things that we still hold in our body that we want to release that is keeping us blocked and stagnant. All right. So you're just going to take your piece of paper and you are going to tear it into smaller bits of paper. Okay. All we're doing, so that you have a few pieces of paper. Alright? And when you're doing a releasing ritual, harnessing the energy of the moon, you want to keep in mind the significant colors that are a part of that frequency. So this is a rose moon and I'm wearing the color pink. Alright? So what are rituals? Rituals, they're just that thing that humans do. So for example, an animal, a spider weaves a web. That's what spiders do, they weave webs. Birds, they build nests, right? Every animal, every species, every creature, every creation has its own practice that it performs that helps, that is symbolic of its connection to source. And that's what rituals are for us as human beings. Right, so I've got my pieces of paper, and this paper, along with the black pen, you're going to write onto this paper everything that you are ready and willing to release. If you want to put yours in the comments and I can perform that for you, together we're going to allow that to be released and carried into the heavens by the smoke. And what's going to happen is that which you release is going to be released into the heavens, and the universe is going to, the energies available to us is going to transmute that which you experience as fear might actually be abundance. What you experience as fear might actually be unconditional love. Maybe you're afraid of commitment. Maybe you're afraid to fully commit to something because of some limiting beliefs. And what it really is unconditional love. Maybe your fear holds you apart or blocks your creativity because perhaps you had family members or people say to you, that can't be a career, you're wasting your time. What difference does that make? All right. When really that is where your purpose is. What you feel inspired to, your creativity, that's what you came here to do. That also possesses the energy for your abundance. That also possesses the energy for flow in your life, where you're able to impact other people's lives, other individuals with your gift, with your creativity in a way that activates them and allows them to welcome into their life more joy. So your purpose is really key. And the energy of Sagittarius, which is the energy provided to us for this full moon, is the energy of fire. Right? Fire activates, fire fuels, and fire also destroys that which no longer serves. Fire brings warmth and comfort. All right. Okay. I'm a little bit far. Let's see what Lilith is saying. All right. So, do you use all the water for your tea or just a little bit at a time? I'm not going to use all the water. I'm going to put 2 spoons into my tea. That's what I'm going to do over the next couple of days. You can also just drink it as water as is. So if you have a jug, what I like to, in my color therapy course, I teach creating vessels to charge your water with color therapy, to solar charge or to moon charge. So you can buy a jug with a specific color, or you can paint it with the glass paint, and you can create the jugs with the different colors of the chakras, and then you can just put your water in there and charge it, and you drink it like that. Okay, I think I'm going to bring this a little bit closer because otherwise I can't see. All right, guys, so please share the live so that other people who might want to be a part of or learn how to perform a ritual. It's nice when we do these ceremonies in groups because then we a collective energy. But we can do it individually as well. Okay, I think I'm going to bring this my phone a little closer. That means I'm going to have to switch all off my light. All right, I'm not sure how that looks or if you're going to be able to see me. You can see me. I've just got that light behind me. That's okay. Ooh, all right. So, I've got my pieces of paper and I've got my fire, obviously. Let's see if I can put this down a little bit. Let's see where we are, yeah. Right. Okay. So, we're going to start by, I'm just going to tune into I'm going to activate some universal healing energy, some Reiki energy, okay? And we're just going to welcome in those who are here, those who are late to the live, great. Those who are not late to the live, that's okay. Some people need this healing energy, need the support and the release, whether they are here or not. It's those of us who have asked our guides to help us to release that which no longer serves. There's a lot of intense energy coming up with the Sagittarius moon. You've got to keep the Sagittarius energy in mind with this moon. It's the energy of confronting things, all right? It's the energy of fire where we take things through the flame, trusting that only that which is real, only that which serves is going to make it through the flames and rise as the phoenix. And that which is symbolic of our delusions and of our fears and of what is not real is going to burn to ashes and be transformed into something that we can actually use as a collective. So at the moment on our planet, we've got systems in place. We've got cultures. There's aspects of our culture that's really not been serving us, that is being taken through the flame to be restructured so that it can transform and transmute and evolve, emerge from the flames as something that actually serves. Okay? Otherwise, what is the use? We can't keep having behaviors, beliefs, habits that don't serve the collective, and we're just holding on to it because it's what we know. It's what our forefathers did. We've got to be willing to allow for change. All right? And that's what we're doing. We're allowing for change. We're calling for change on the planet right now. We cannot be manipulated into believing that war is for our benefit. It's not. It's greed. We've been lied to for far too long. And the innocent have suffered because we've been ignorant and we've been blind to the truth. And so now there are aspects of the ego that are being confronted. Okay. So I'm just going to tune into the energy of source of love, unconditional love, and open portals, pathways for those who have asked for the release of that which weighed them down and that which no longer serves. That we're holding space for that right now, who have asked for, prayed for, called for the ending of the wars and the suffering of the children in Gaza, the murder, the brutality, the prevention of aid and food, all of these atrocities on our planet, the children suffering from aids who have where aid has been prevented, where they do not have access to their medicine because of policies and systems put in place by the greedy. The power that seems to be yielded over the everyday human being working hard by systems that are crippling and keeping people in a state of impoverishment. The sense of helplessness and the need to be seen. There are so many things happening on our planet right now that really hurts the heart and leaves so many of us feeling helpless. And we're wanting to release these strongholds and the beliefs that these people in power and the rich have the power to create and to determine our fate, because they don't. We are the ones in power. We get to decide how we want our world to look, and this restructuring, we get to pour our energy into it. Some of us are still in a state of fear, in a state of paralysis, in a state of helplessness. And so we're wanting to release those shackles, wanting to call forth the everyday person. Practice your craft, your gift, your creativity, and pour that into the world. That is the medicine that we need right now. There is a restructuring of money on the planet as well. Okay, so it's time for us to rise. And when we're feeling crippled by depression and sadness and resentment for the way that the world looks, we cannot rise in our creativity and rise in our magic and our power. We remain hidden, and the world is calling for us to rise now. So we are doing a releasing ceremony to release the strongholds, our fear, our resentment, our programming, our limiting beliefs, the relationships that don't serve, the people-pleasing tendencies, the codependent tendencies. We're releasing all of that into the flames, and we're calling forth to open up and be receptive of the Sagittarius energies available to us now, to transform that which holds us in a place of bondage into the medicine that is our creativity, our power, our love, and the impact we want to make on the world. Okay, so that's what this is about. And I'm going to ask that we just take a few seconds and open up the heart space to channel in love and welcome in those, wherever they are in the world right now, to be a part of this collective release. The ashes that are being released to the flame also become fertilizer for the fruits of the Spirit that we all possess. Okay, so if there is something specifically that you would like to release and you'd like to do that with me, you can put it in the comments. Okay, otherwise you can do this in your own space. I'm just showing you how it's done. So we set our intention together. Okay, that was our intention. Opening up the heart space and asking the archangels to support us and to help us to release what doesn't serve. Limiting beliefs, fear-based beliefs, judgment, resentment, people-pleasing, codependence, all of these things that we still hold active in our relationships that do not serve us or our relationships. Okay? And the voice is in our head, the ego that tells us you're not doing enough, you're not enough, you're a failure. Look at how old you are and you've done nothing. What have you done with your life? You've not achieved any of your goals. Maybe it's because that book that you feel you have inside of you is rubbish and it's not going to be a success. Maybe that's why you haven't published it yet. You know that voice? That voice that says maybe the reason why you've been abused in your relationships is because you're the problem. You don't deserve love. We're wanting to release those limiting beliefs. We're wanting to release them to the flames, and we want them to be, because those beliefs, whether you believe it or not, they're seeds that have not been planted in the ground, that have not been nurtured and nourished. So we're wanting to allow the fruits of the Spirit that we experience as oppression and as fear and as failure, that we experience as darkness, that some people in our lives say, well, that's evil, that you're sinful, you're bad, you're not a good person. Those lies that cause rotting in those seeds, we're wanting to allow them to be released in the flame and to become fertilizer to the soil in which we plant those seeds. All right? For those seeds to be nourished. All right. That's what we're doing together tonight with the ceremony. So allow yourself to think of some of the things that have come up for you lately. All right? Just personally in your own relationship with yourself. You're going to take your pieces of paper and your black pen, because you want all the energy that is associated with that negative belief, that negative voice, that negative thing that's been spoken over your life. You want it to be absorbed into the ink on the paper, and we're going to release it to the fire, to the flame, okay? All right, so that's what we're doing. So some of the energies that have come up this week is you're not enough. It's not enough. All the effort that everybody's making, all the effort that you're making, you're not enough. Okay? So we're going to release, we're going to write on our piece of paper, not enough, and the belief that we are not enough, that what we've done is not enough, that the influence and the impact that we're making on our loved ones and the impact that we're wanting to make on the world, that the work we do, that the energy we send out, that the intentions we set, the lie from the ego, from that voice that sometimes speaks to us in our heads, or the voices of family members and people around us that trigger us, that lie, we write, we put it on the paper, piece of paper, and we release it to the flame. That's what we're doing. We're releasing it to the flame. So I'm taking my tongs here and I'm going to show you. See? Stubborn. Releasing it to the flames. Right. And you will notice with these papers that you put into the flame, some of them will hide from the fire, will blow to the side to avoid the flame, and that is also symbolic of how these are stubborn beliefs and thought patterns that we don't want to release. Something else, another energy that's come up in the collective this week is that the world is just a terrible place and we're all doomed. There's a lot of that energy going around, and the collective is really, really feeling frustration around the people in our world are to the suffering of others because of their greed. So we're going to put onto our paper the feeling, a sense of helplessness. We're going to write down helplessness or hopelessness, and we're going to release that to the flame, trusting that the flame is going to carry the essence of that energy to the heavens, and it's going to be transmuted, transformed, to become fertilizer for the fruits of our spirit as a collective. Fear. We're going to release fear the fear of change, or the fear that nothing will change, the fear that we will never be able to allow the love that we deserve or our goals to be realized. All of those fears, we're releasing that to the flame. And then resentment. I'm going to put resentment because I think the world could be so much better. I don't understand why we're still stuck in certain patterns. And sometimes I have resentment coming up as a result of that. And that resentment holds me in a place of stagnation. It weighs me down. Resentment weighs us down. Oh, Lilith, you said resentment as I was writing it down. Look at that. Resentment weighs us down and keeps us stuck. It doesn't allow our energy to move. It doesn't allow our creative energy, our energy of purpose and inspiration free, so that it can become a part of that movement, that forward movement for the collective. And it keeps us stuck, so we're releasing resentment to the flames. And allowing it to be carried up into the heavens, making use of this beautiful energy, Sagittarius energy that the universe is providing for us. Allowing that which was once resentment to become fertilizer for our seeds of creativity, of inspiration, of passion, purpose. Now sometimes when we feel like the world we live in is an awful place, that there's nothing beautiful there, it's only darkness, we disconnect and we disassociate from it. And when we disconnect, we create a ripple effect of disconnection, disconnecting to our truth, disconnecting to our collective energy of love and healing. So we want to release into the flame disconnection and disassociation. Okay, and what else did you say there, Lilith? Can we release density as a whole? Oh yes, we're going to do that. We're going to do that. We're going to tap into releasing on a collective basis, for the collective, with our bay leaves. Okay, so now I'm going to take my bay leaves and we're going to start doing the ceremonial work together for the world at large right now, as a collective. We're setting an intention to create and allow the fruits of the Spirit, which is love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, joy, peace, serenity, ease. We're wanting all of the fruits of the Spirit to be nurtured and nourished with the fertility, the fertilizer, as we release some of the dense energies that are present on the planet right now. And we'll start with greed. We're seeing the fall of these empires. We're seeing the fall of these people holding up the empires built on greed. We're seeing these giants who have become giants in the eyes of humanity because of their money and their wealth. We're seeing their fall. That we're seeing them for what they truly are. And we're wanting to release greed, the spirit of greed on our planet. So we write it with our black pen onto our bay leaf, and we're releasing the leaders who are being fueled by the spirit of greed. Those in power, fueled by the spirit of greed. Spirit of greed in the lives of the everyday person. We're releasing them with this bay leaf into the flame. The feeling lost. Yeah, let's do that. So that we can fertilize more clarity, a deeper sense of clarity. And we're tending to our fire, which is also symbolic of tending to our own flame. Tending to our purpose and the flame within. The belief and the feeling of being lost. We know that we are never lost, but the feeling is symbolic of an energy that we want to release. The feeling of being unsupported. Release to the flame. Then I'm taking another bay leaf and we're going to release war. War and conflict. The strongholds and the beliefs that we hold, where we believe that we need these things, that we constantly have to be in a state of conflict and fighting and at war in order to have peace. It is a lie. You cannot create peace from war. You cannot get to peace from war. And we cannot create connection and clarity from disconnection, disassociation, and injustice. Let's put injustice on a bay leaf. Where there is injustice and imbalance, we're releasing that. We want harmony, balance, and equality. We want to have the capacity to hold space for others, to honor others, and to have people in our lives that honor us and hold space for us. With this one, many people are going to leave your reality. What you want to know about doing any ceremonial work with the bay leaf is that whatever you put on that bay leaf is going to be removed from your life. So if you have people in your life that have bad behaviors, put the behavior on the leaf, right? Because it will transmute the energy within you that is a match to that behavior and within that person. But if that person is attached to that habit or that behavior, they will leave your life. So before you put anyone on a bay leaf, you need to be willing to let them go. Do you understand? Because in order for certain people or situations to be active in our lives and in our within our world, we've got to have, there has to be a vibrational essence that allows them to be there, right? That vibrational essence, I think, is probably what people refer to as evil, or where they've created the character that they call the devil, which doesn't exist. It's fantasy. It's like Santa Claus, Father Christmas doesn't exist, but it embodies an energy that is active in our lives, right? And when you realize that, when you're willing to see that, you can actually allow real change. Look at how beautiful this fire is burning now. We've released a lot. Look at how powerful and how strong this fire is burning. There's a lot that's been released. I want to release the attachment to the suffering, our attachment to suffering as a collective. Growth is uncomfortable. Pain is a natural part of evolution, but suffering is not. Suffering is our ego's attachment to things. And the oligarchs, the elites, use suffering against us to make us think that we need powers outside of ourselves. We need people in positions of power to change our lives. That's why we choose the leaders we do that are so disgusting, but because we think, oh, they're rich and so they must be better than us, they must be more powerful, they must know something we do not know. Hello Vicky, good evening. Welcome in. We're doing a beautiful ceremony, a rose moon ceremony where we're releasing and alchemizing, transmuting the energies to become fertilizer for the fruits of the Spirit. So we can see more peace in our world and we can have the breakthroughs that we want. We want the end of war, we want the end of injustice. They're always going to exist to some degree, but right now we have the power to influence major change on our planet. So we're releasing suffering as a weapon that's being used against us. You know, there are elites that will create problems, feed us with fuel fear amongst us, and then they will come and offer us a false sense of security. And we will buy into it, and they will become richer for it. Nothing will change in our lives. We will be left with those patterns and programming of fear. Releasing discord and neglect. Oh, that's a good one. All right, let's just release the spirit of this tool of suffering that the elites and those in power use against us. Our attachment to suffering, that's what we're releasing into the flames. Discord and neglect. We're putting discord onto a bay leaf. As I've said, I hope you guys heard me, guys. When you're releasing, you can use paper. Paper carries the essence, the energy of the tree. The elders, they will take what you give them and they will channel that energy and transmute it in a way with wisdom, in a way that serves you. When you're using bay leaf, this is the absolute removal of something. So you want to be very careful and want to think carefully before you use bay leaf in a ceremony, okay? So we're going to put discord onto the bay leaf because discord does not serve us as humanity in any way. Discord is the product of purposeful fueling of negative conflict to manipulate a situation. Pure conflict is part of the process, which is chaos, right? That we can then transmute into peace, ease. It is for the purpose of coming to a solution. That is the essence and the energy of a storm. But discord is the purposeful creation, manipulation of your vulnerabilities to fuel dysfunction and dis-ease for the purpose of manipulation. Do you understand? For the purpose of more power, to have power and to yield power over a people, a person, a situation. So we're going to write down discord on the bay leaf. And where we have discord, where discord is being created, we're releasing that. We're releasing the energies, the strongholds that are active in these various spaces, in our own world, in our own lives, in our relationships, but on a global scale, in our leadership, those who are in positions of power and influence, where the intention to create opportunities for manipulation calls forth and summons the energy of discord. And that ripples out into the world and on our planet. You guys, my stream ended, my live just ended, just went dead when we were busy dealing with discord. Can you believe that? My screen just went blank and my live ended abruptly without any warning. That is letting you, that is clearly showing the oppression that is, you know, that there is a blockage, there is a spirit of oppression that does not want certain strongholds to be released. It just went, as we were dealing with clearing discord, it just went. And Lilith, I was reading your message, which you are absolutely right about, and then it just cut my live without any warning. So we're going to give more energy to clearing out and to releasing strongholds and of oppression and discord. It's also revealing to me, it's revealing something to me about YouTube. Gotta pay attention. Yeah. My live ended abruptly, Lilith, when we were dealing with clearing out and breaking strongholds around discord. My screen just went blank. And that spirit is revealing something to me about YouTube. So we're still dealing with clearing discord and oppression. That's what we're clearing. You see, nothing just happens by chance. Nothing just happens by chance. The universe is communicating with us every minute of every day, interacting with us and our energy, right? And when you're clearing, when you're releasing something and your flame suddenly burns higher, or it dies, or suddenly something, a wind blows to blow out your candle flame, that is an expression of the level of blockage and oppression that is present, where certain things do not want to be released, certain strongholds do not want to be released. Look at that flame now. So, yeah, exactly. Exactly, enough said. Neglect and addiction. Oh, yeah, those are big ones. Neglect and addiction. Coming home to oneself. That's something we've all got to learn, right? Because neglect and self-abandonment was such a very big part of our programming, and a very big part of our ancestry, of what's sort of been integrated and forced into the DNA of our people and of the world. And then addiction, that disassociation, and the need to medicate to disassociate because of overwhelming pain. So, addiction. I just said to someone today, we're living in a zombie apocalypse. We have zombies everywhere. And addiction feels that too. That disconnecting from the part of you that is source, from the part of you that is soul. So we want to wake up to ourselves, and we want our collective, our people, to those around us to wake up too. And they can't wake up if they're stuck in addiction. They're being fed off of by energy vampires. And we've got so many people moving around, they're zombified, that they can't see and they can't feel. Yeah. And as we release, we're not releasing because we want to separate from what is real. We're wanting to create the alchemical process that allows that which is in its distortion to transmute and transform and to show up in its fullness, to set our creativity free, to set our passion and our purpose free, to set our solar plexus free, our heart chakras free, to set us free from our fear. Beautiful. Desperation. Oh yes, absolutely. Let's do desperation. A desperate people are a people who don't know, whose resources and access to well-being has been colonized. They don't know that well-being is free, that abundance is free, because it's being governed. And then it makes us desperate in our shortage. So we're wanting to release that shortage consciousness. Beautiful. We don't need anything from anyone else. We don't need our leaders to give us anything. In fact, we need to stop begging them for what is right and for what we want. And we need to start creating that in our homes, in our relationship with ourselves, in our communities. It needs to become a part of our culture, and it needs to completely override the greed and the lies and the perception of shortage. Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, this fire is hot. And it's so cold here in Cape Town. So this fire is really nice. Okay. So now we're just going to make use of this beautiful energy available to us now, and we're going to just hold space for it. And I'm going to tune into some beautiful, beautiful source healing energy to activate and uplift our vibration, our immune system, our guidance system, to tune us into higher levels of love, and to become a part of the energy that fertilizes and nurtures the fruits of the Spirit in our world, in our lives, and everywhere around us. Feel those shackles breaking everywhere around you, beloved. Those strongholds burning to ashes are becoming fertilizer and nourishment for the soil, for the womb space. As we create more love, more joy, more kindness, as we create more beauty, more art, goodness in the world around us. And we allow more of it into our space. Ooh, there's a heaviness on my heart chakra that I'm feeling is very, very heavy, and it's weighing down. I'm just going to clear that and heal that. May your hearts be fruitful and abundant like the orchards and the gardens of paradise. Light and beautiful, filled with creation. Birds, beautiful birds singing and bees humming. If you see a bird or a bee that pops out at you this week, that is your reminder of this beautiful, beautiful energy and transformation, of the release and everything that comes with it. Lilith, thank you so much for being here with me and holding space with me this evening. I really appreciate your beautiful energy. Prepare your water and charge it in the moonlight, and make good use of that beautiful moon water this week. Thank you so much. I really feel that, Lilith. Thank you. I appreciate it. You know, we with these sacred spaces, we hold space for so many people who really need it and will experience breakthroughs and not even know of those who have held space for them, and that's okay. A lot of what we do is unseen, is unappreciated, and is unrecognized, but we don't do it for the recognition, we do it for something greater. It's a selfless thing, and it's a beautiful thing. The sacred keepers of the flame. So, thank you. Thank you all for being here, those of you who have joined in and showed up and have held space. And I set an intention to do this again with the next full moon, and perhaps every moon after that, so that we can begin to call back these practices. So that our people can heal and grow and awaken. Okay. So take care, have a good week further, and rest well, beautiful souls.